undisputed, no mistakes are playing big. In the end, you'll all marvel like it's.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mike and I Show. I'm Mike.
And I'm Mike. Welcome to Week 5 of the XCFL.
Ah, man, this is a bit of a slow and depressing week for me.
What's that?
Well, I've got a bye week this week in XCFL League.
Yeah, those are just a little bit lame. What do you plan on doing with your newfound amount of time?
Funny you should ask. I was trying to think of fun things to do on a bye week with your extra time, so I compiled a list and I asked some league members to help me out.
Alright, I'll bite. Let's hear it.
Well, I had to come up with one myself, so figured I'd go get a plastic ball and throw it at someone and yell, "Get in your ball, you stupid Pokemon!"
Oh boy, this list sounds like it's going to be interesting.
Well, I think I came up with some good ones with league members, so let's go ahead and go through the top 5. Number 1, you gotta go to a Chinese restaurant, ask for Mexican food. Number 2, go to an ATM, and when the money comes out, scream, "I won, I won, I won!" Number 3, put a door doll in the middle of Walmart. When someone tries to pick it up, yell, "Swiper, no swiping!" Number 4, walk up to a child that resembles you, proclaim, "I'm from the future!" And number 5, go to an Alcohol Anonymous class with 1/5 of liquor. Hey, there's Commissioner Jim. Come on in here. Tell us how to, keep busy.
Rabbits jump and they live 8 years. Dogs run and they live 15 years. Turtles do nothing and they live forever. Lesson learned.
Welcome to the show, last year's XCFL League's Coach of the Year, Coach Boone.
How you guys doing today?
Those of you who don't know Coach Boone, he is in charge of his favorite team in real life, the Tennessee Titans. So, is it any different coaching the team you're a fan of, as far as trades and all that stuff, and how you take losses, Boone?
I mean, I think as far as how I run my team with my Titans this year, I was pretty determined on not trading anyone away. I just wanted to make that team work and see how I could build them up without changing them too much. So I guess as far as trades go, yeah, it does make a difference because when I had the Chargers, I was sure ready to just cut bait on anybody I didn't like. It was a wrap. But, I tend to like my own players better. And as far as taking losses, it still stings as much as watching them lose in real life.
Yeah, I bet it does. That would be difficult. I know you've been kind of stingy with the trade, so we'll see how that is long term because the league's going long term. So we'll see if you loosen up if some of your players do poorly. 4 games in, you're sitting at the record of 2-2, as you know. You had a tough divisional loss. I will say a beatdown by the Houston Texans, which is okay because they kicked my ass too. It looks like the Texans may run away with the division. They're currently looking at 4-0. They've got a huge 126 points scored to 54 points allowed. So, I mean, they're pretty easily beating people up. Do you think the Titans have a chance at AFC South?
Absolutely. I still think this is my division. One loss does not tank a season, nor does 2, because I highly doubt the Texans will finish at 16-0. Nor do I doubt that I probably won't even finish 14-2. So there's plenty of football left. And I always think we have a chance. And not to mention, the Jags are up there 4-0. So we definitely have a difficult division. It'll be interesting. But I definitely think we can pull it out and get this win.
Yeah, well, Boone, as of right now, you're currently, I guess you played a game tonight. So before tonight's game, you were leading the league offensively with 1,490 yards already passing. That's pretty insane. Give an overview of your top performers right now.
I can promise you, us being the top overall offense won't change. As far as our offense goes, I like to keep that 2-back system, as everyone probably could have guessed, with Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. I think with this formation subs update they put into Madden 17, they changed it from last year's Madden. That allows me to really keep that 2-headed back system working as far as, different formations are going to have different backs for what I feel that they are best suited for. So as far as the offense goes, it's pretty balanced as far as, Henry and Murray both showing up with 2 touchdowns a pop. Both over 100 yards so far in the season. Murray getting a heavier load of carries for his experience. And as far as the offense, man, Mariota's tearing it up. He could definitely end up on an MVP pace. Now I'm gonna take out that Houston game with the 3 or 4 picks he threw and no touchdowns, and just focus on the first 3 because I think that's more true to what he's gonna do this season, as he sits at about 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. So I think he's definitely on pace and he's spreading the ball well. No receivers really shining as far as getting the major workload. Every receiver is just about anywhere from 130 to 300 yards. Everyone has about 2 touchdowns, so it's pretty even. I like it.
Well, Boone's famous for the famous Dylan Thompson scenario, and he's got a better quarterback to start with this time. So I imagine long term that's going to help you out. Mike, I'm glad you gave a chance to brag up his team offensively, because the Titans are sucking at one thing, and that's defense. They're on the bottom 6 for defensive yards allowed. They've allowed 1,400 yards so far, 127 points. Boone, do you have a plan to improve your defense?
Do I have a plan? As far as it goes this season, there's not much I could do. They just need to play better. They are playing awful. We're not getting any pressure. We're not getting any push on the line. We are just a mess as far as the defensive unit is concerned. The cornerbacks, while Parrish Cox is leading the league in picks with 5, he had 3 last game. He's amazing right now. That's great. But McCourty's playing like crap. Beard is not stepping up. I have Stafford and Rashad Matt. It's just a whole bunch of people who are on my line, who are on my defense as a whole, and just are not stepping up. Kevin Dodd is playing like crap. Who else is out there? Williamson. Oh my gosh, so many people have inquired about him and Casey for trades. And honestly, if I wasn't a Titans fan, they'd probably be gone because they're playing like crap. So someone needs to step up. But I've never been a big defensive person. I'm not a big defensive coach. I can't really stop you. I usually give up a lot of points in the first half, and I just plan on outscoring. But I would like for them to step it up to some degree. We have to be better than 25th in the league. That's embarrassing.
Mike, taking a quick break, what real NFL team does that sound like? First in the league in offense, last in the league in defense.
Sounds kind of like the Saints. But a number that really sticks out to me, Boone, is looking at your sack total in 4 games. And I don't mean how many sacks you've created. I mean, your quarterback, Mariota, has been sacked a whopping 19 times in 4 games. 19! At this rate, he might die before the whole season's even over. So, what is your plan to limit that number of hits that Mariota's taking right now?
Man, if I really had a plan, I would tell you. I don't know how to protect this dude at this point. My best offensive lineman is Taylor Lewan, number one first round pick, like 2 years ago. He's given up 6 sacks. He's second in the league in sacks given up. And they don't even take stats well for that stat. Like, that is not recorded properly, so I know there's more. And then he's setting the example for my new rookie, Jack Conklin, who's weak as hell. He has like an 83 strength, and I hate that on an offensive lineman. If you honestly cannot give me a 90 strength, you have no business being on my line. So he can be the first one to go. I said I wasn't up for trades. Jack Conklin can be out the door for almost nothing. I'm tired of him. He's given up 3 himself. That's embarrassing. Our tackles look like crap. Every game, if you look at that Texans game, that edge was getting beat every single play. I could not finish a drop back. I could not go to a second read. And it got to the point where I was either throwing drags or dump offs because I couldn't get further into my progressions. I honestly don't know what to do. This is about the most stress I've had in Madden from an offensive line, and I knew that was going to be a problem at the start of the season.
Well, you've heard it here, folks, on the podcast first. If you play Coach Boone, just rush the crap out of his tackles.
It'll probably work.
Alrighty, well, if Mariota doesn't die anytime soon, your next 2 games are Dolphins and Browns. How do you see your Titans matching up with those 2 teams?
2-0. Simple as that. 2-0. We shouldn't lose to the Dolphins. We should never lose to the Browns. Those 2 teams. I can't. Come on, man. Like, even if you were putting money down, could you honestly say to yourself, I put real money on the Browns? Like, could you honestly live with yourself saying that? Come on. Those have to be wins.
Well, you never know. They look pretty good at times. But
I can 100% guarantee, put my car on the line, that I beat the Dolphins next week.
we should mention that he drives a beater that's falling apart. But
A beater. Well,
Well,
anyway.
On a beater, the ceiling's falling down. I don't have a rear view mirror, but it's fine. It gets you from point A to point B. Don't drive in the rain though. The wipers in.
Well, thanks, Boone, for stopping in. It's always a pleasure to get to talk to you and kind of harass you just a little bit and have some fun. So, really do appreciate it. And we wish you liked getting your favorite team into the postseason, but I mean, I don't know. I don't see that happening right now.
All right, thanks for having me, and I can't wait to try and find Dylan Thompson and put him on the roster again.
All right, have a good one, bye.
All right, fellas.
All right, let's transition to talk about Al's predictions for Week 5 of the XCFL. Is he still coming in here, Mike?
I think he's actually wrapped up in the central office of the Bears right now, so he will probably be back with us next week. But we're going to go ahead and go through each one of his picks, and we'll decide if we agree or not.
All right, I'll start us off here. Al thinks Arizona clearly wins over the 49ers 20-3 on David Johnson's performance of 29 runs for 111 yards and a touchdown. He also gets 4 catches for 26 yards. Is David Johnson going to have that good of a game?
Well, I definitely agree with the score. I could see that happening. I think the 49ers probably will get a touchdown, but I could see that score. I do think if David Johnson does rush 29 times, I think he'll have a little more than 111 yards, but I don't think he'll run that many times. I think he'll be a little bit more limited, but I do see a big game from David Johnson and the Cardinals in general. Let's see, looking at the next pick, Al took the easy one here, picking the New England Patriots to beat the Cleveland Browns, 32-14. What do you think about that?
Well, if you had to have money on that game, I think you go Patriots every time in both real life and the game. The Cleveland Browns in the game, I think you can build them up, and with time you can get that team pretty successful, but at its current state, I don't think they beat the Patriots at all. So I agree with that one. Let's see. According to the predictions, Matthew Stafford's going to have a decent job. He's going to 235 yards, touchdown, but he does throw an interception. He leads the Lions to beat the Eagles 27-22. Do you agree with the Lions winning?
I think that game could go either way. Both guys are new in the league. In fact, by the time this podcast comes out, they've already actually played, so I'm going to not spit that information out. But I could definitely see that score being a possibility, or I could see it being flip-flop, and I could see the Eagles winning 27-22. I think they have the better team, so it could go either way. I do want to put a little poke out there toward the Patriots. I'm actually going to call the Patriots to lose to the Browns. Kratos has lost 2 in a row now, and he's slipping in that AFC East division, and I want to see him keep slipping. So I'm going to call the Browns to upset the Patriots this week. But let's roll back on down to his next prediction. And wow. Well, I can't believe it, but Al is predicting the Bears are finally going to win a game. Coming off a week filled with uncertainty and firings and just chaos, he has them beating the Colts 20-14. Is he delusional?
He might be. I think there's something to be said that when you fire a coach, you kind of bond around that team, and sometimes the team comes out and plays better. But I don't know if the Colts are going to be able to get beat in this game. And the Bears, long term, I think they're going to be a good team. They have better chance of success than even the Browns. But I don't think they pull this off. And I think Sean would have something to say about that. I don't think that he's going to let them pull that off. So I don't know about that, but we'll see what happens. I see this Nets game, and I just have to laugh. The Miami Dolphins, according to his prediction, are going to have a blowout win against the Tennessee Titans, 48-6. Boy, I'd love to see Boone after a loss like that. But will it happen?
Well, unfortunately, the Dolphins are a CPU team, and I would love to not only watch Boone lose, but to watch Boone lose that badly to a CPU. However, I don't think so. I think the score is going to be not that bad, but I think it's going to be flip-flopped largely in favor of the Titans this coming week. So if it weren't a CPU, though, all the way. Blowout. But It's hard to pick CPU over a decent user, aka decent. In Al's Elite Watch, he has the Baltimore Ravens finding a way to beat the Washington Redskins, 18-17. It's always difficult to predict when you think a game will be that close. Do you see that close of a win, or do you see it going a different way?
Is the Redskins still computer?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, I see the Ravens winning this game, so I agree with the Ravens winning. I don't know if it's going to be that close, though. I think the Redskins have a pretty good team. I have no idea why they haven't been picked up. And I think that the computer could do well with that team. I see the Ravens winning. Maybe even getting that score 18, but it'd be more like 18, probably 10 would be a more likely score. All right, this next game, it's the one I've been waiting for. I got some quotes for you, the listeners. We got the Houston Texans versus the Minnesota Vikings. Before I give Al's prediction, I talked to each of these coaches, and I wanted to make sure they knew the importance of the game. Of course they did. Wanted to let them give a chance to kind of give a quote. I was going to have them come on. Both are busy getting ready for the game. So I got a quote first from Zach about his Texans. He says, the defense is playing very well and giving our offense a ton of chances to get points throughout the game. Rookie receiver Will Fuller is proving to be a reliable deep threat and taking some focus off Hopkins. And that's a huge thing. People focus on Hopkins. They might even, on defense as they're playing Hopkins, shade that way a little bit. So I think that's a good thing for his team. On the flip side, Nick, Minnesota Vikings, gave me this quote about his team. My team to date has been playing very well offensively and defensively. All three running backs are doing a great job finding the end zone, and the team is pumped up for a challenge against the Texans. Al has the Texans getting a win at 23-16. I'll just say before I let you agree or disagree, I think the Texans are the best team right now in the XCFL. Their defense is crazy. I think Minnesota's really good. I honestly could see this score, 23-16, if not somewhere around there. I think this is a defensive battle. I think the Texans pull off, but it's going to be close. What do you think?
I agree 100%. Maybe not with the score, but I do agree with the outcome. I think it'll be a little lower scoring, actually. I think we're going to be looking at more of a 17-14, 17-13, somewhere in there. I mean, I think as good as the Texans' defense is and as good as their pass rush is, Vikings have great pass rush as well. They have probably the best set of cornerbacks in the league. I would probably safely say that. I mean, I know they lost Captain Munnerlyn, but they still got a pretty stout top 3 or 4 receivers. So I think it'll be close, but I think Texans have the upper hand a little bit. Next game we're looking at here, Fitzpatrick throws 3 interceptions to allow the Steelers a 30-24 win over the Jets. Will that happen?
Yeah, I could see that happening. Commissioner Jim's got a pretty good game with a pretty good team with the Steelers. He's had some rough luck with the Steelers, but let's not forget that it is the Steelers. So they could be successful. I feel like this game's going to be sloppy. A 30-24 win as a sloppy game, not 30-24, wow, those teams did great, but a 30-24, they're both throwing picks, they're both fumbling, they're both falling all over each other, and eventually one wins. I could see it happening. As you know, this week is a very rare occurrence in the XCFL schedule because it's actually matched up to the real NFL schedule. So that makes some interesting conversations. In the NFL, we have the Broncos probably destroying the Falcons. I sure hope so as a Saints fan, but the Falcons don't even get up. They're just dead and they can't even live. Sorry, Falcons fans. However, the prediction has the flip side. Falcons are winning 34-10 and just domination of the Broncos. Which one's correct?
Well, as much as I would love to see the Falcons lose, I think they have a very, very good chance of pulling out the victory in the XCFL. But I'm going to go with my gut here. Due to my Falcon hatred, I'm going to say that the Broncos beat the Falcons. I'm actually going to agree with his score, 34-10. I'm just going to flip it in favor of the Broncos. I think if you shut down Julio Jones, you shut down the Falcons. Because so far that's all his team has been in the XFL. It's been Julio Jones. And I think Denver has the cornerbacks and the safeties to do that. So I'm going to 34-10 Broncos over the Falcons. Let's see. Next up, there he is. The Bengals beat the Cowboys 35-21. True or false?
I'm going to make this simple. True. Okay, both teams are good. I don't know if I agree with the score, 35-21. That's high scoring. But I think the Bengals are going to win. I think the Bengals have a really good team. I think the Cowboys have a good team. I think the Bengals, though, they win 23-17. So I think the Bengals are going to win. Okay, let's see. Your Bills, they finally get a win. Holy cow. You had to pick somebody because it was either the Bills or it was the Rams, and he picks you both to lose every time. He says the Bills win 27-21. Game's already been played. Was it close to the actual result?
It was actually an incredible defensive game, back and forth. I believe at halftime, my Bills were down 9-6. And then there was no scoring at all in the second half, all the way until I believe the final seconds. Actually, I believe I scored a touchdown with 2 seconds left in the game to end up pulling out the victory, 13-9. But it was just hard fought. There were turnovers on both sides. I guess you could call it sloppy, but in my opinion, it was just a good defensive battle. Good pass rush, people getting to the ball, and so my Bills finally got the win according to Al, and they got the win in real life. So I'm happy on both accounts there. In the second to last prediction, let's see here. He's got the Packers beating the Giants, 34-20. I don't know. Do you see this game being that high scoring?
I don't see it being that high scoring. I see the Packers winning. I think Al was smoking something and he thought he was watching high scoring games or something. I don't know. I don't feel like it's gonna be that high scoring, but I think the Packers gonna win. For the very last prediction, he's got Air V and the Bucks losing to the Computer Panthers 10-23. Is the Computer Panthers gonna have a victory?
Well, actually, I believe this game has already happened, and yes, the Bucks did lose to the CPU Panthers. So, it happens. Teams like the like the Panthers. If you got a quarterback like Cam Newton, sometimes you're better off playing a user than you are playing the CPU, because those CPUs are just straight cheese sometimes, especially when you got a quarterback like Cam Newton. So. He was right on that. I'm not sure about the score. I didn't catch the score, but he was 100% correct in terms of them losing. Okay. So,
all right. Well, an AirV's in front of the podcast, and that stuff happens. You gotta watch out for that Computer Panthers team. I agree.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's all we got for everybody this week. We hope you enjoy XCFL's own song, "Keeping It Sim," and have a good week. We're signing off.
Other leagues don't like us 'cause we are better than them. We had the best commissioner when his name's Jim. He don't get caught up in that cheese 'cause he's always watching you, and you should know. He even watches when you sleep, and if you want to join the XCFL, then brother, you had better keep it sim. And other leagues, they try to be like us, but brother, they just cannot keep it sim. For all that are searching for a league, and for all you guys that think you play sim, if you think you're good enough, then come on. But don't be coming here with all of that cheese. And if you want to join the XCFL, then brother, you had better keep it sim. And other leagues, they try to be like us, but brother, they just cannot keep it sim. And if you want to join the XCFL, then brother, you had better cannot keep it sim. And other leagues, they try to be like us, but brother, they just cannot keep it sim.